When I was younger, my goal was to one day be famous. When I look back on that goal, I'm like, what's up with that? And I think part of it was because I wanted attention. Another part of it was that I figured if I was famous, I'd be rich, and that would be a pretty cool thing to be. But if I check at the heart of that, at the heart of it, I wanted to leave an impact on this world so that one day when I was gone, people would know that I existed. That's leaving a legacy. And I think many of us want to leave legacies. The question is, what's the difference between what we think we're leaving and what we are? Last year, I would have told you that the legacy that I'd leave for my sons, had I closed my eyes last year, would have been totally positive. And then I had the encounter that I've mentioned before, where my son was in the hospital, and I realized that my legacy of working hard, pushing myself beyond, and being a perfectionist, he had emulated all of that, and he hit a wall, and he hit it hard. It was in the aftermath of his illness that he and I began to have some of the most frank and eye-opening conversations that we'd ever had in our lives. What I learned when he and I were going through that was I needed to be present in his life. I needed to listen more. I needed to smile more. I needed to share more. I needed to hug more. I needed to change my behavior so that he would get the best of me and not the worst of me. I needed to change the legacy that I was leaving for him. And while it's been a rough road and it is not perfect yet, we are getting better. It's so interesting because in the work that I do, I often have parents who give me an image of their relationships with their children that aren't always accurate. Because when you talk to the children, their perception is like my son. And there's more that they need from their parents. And I believe that in this journey of mine, as I've begun to heal, I've begun to learn more about how to connect with my son. And not just my son, my little cousins who follow behind me, my students who I have in class, how to connect with those who come behind me, so that in that connection, in that positive encounter, I will have said something, done something, or just been present in a way that changes everything for them. And as I do that, that is my legacy. So here today, what I do is challenge you, challenge us as women to re-examine our legacy, to take maybe the blinders off and look at it realistic, be willing to listen and hear some things that we don't like, so that we can give our children and those others who come behind us exactly what they need. In order for me to do that with my son and my other sons and everybody else in my life, I had to begin the healing process. And it is in my healing that he heals. And that becomes a legacy for him, his children, and those who come after them. Join me in healing, because that healing is our legacy. And with that kind of legacy, our future has no bounds. When she heals, we heal. Let's do this.